Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about something Jadeveon Clowney said about Josh Conerly, a Jayden Daniels injury update, and then also Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel injury updates. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. So let's get into this Clowney thing. I just thought was funny or whatever, so we'll talk about that a little bit. So shout out to my guy Jayden from Bleeding Burgundy and Gold, and then here for the quote Avlon, who said, this is what Clowney said on Conerly. Dude can't block nobody. And overall, I don't know. I think people are saying Conerly played a little bit better than he did. He did have a couple false starts and he did allow a sack. He wasn't awful though by any means, but he wasn't like playing elite level ball or good ball, which is what I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter. And heard different people saying that as well. So for me, I think Conerly's improved definitely from the start. I mean, he was going up against really tough competition, but I think we still got to see improvement from him, like we do everyone, especially the rookies and the second year players. That's what you got to do. You got to continue to improve, and we'll see what happens there. But Conerly, again, had a slow start, has gotten better, but we need to see him continuing to get better because the start was pretty low, and he's getting better and better, and now we just got to see it more consistency. And the false starts, that hasn't really been an issue, but this past week it was. But it's not just him. Laremy Tunsil, he's been having a lot of false starts. He's been good, don't get me wrong. I'm okay with some false starts if you're playing elite level ball like Laremy Tunsil is, but you got to clean those up. And as a whole on the offense, I think Cosme had one. We'll give him a pass first week back, but they got to clean that up this week for sure. And Conerly's improved, but still has work to do. He was part of the reason the Mariota sack happened. And I'm trying to think the Jayden injury. I don't know if that was on him or not. But besides the point, and then Marshawn Lattimore was talking, he was, but I was more saying George Pickens was talking a lot of ish to Marshawn Lattimore, and rightfully so. And then Marshawn Lattimore was just like, all right, bro. And it was funny. It was funny to see. And Lattimore just started to be quiet because he was getting worked. So hopefully that was enough to send him to the bench, but I don't think so. I don't think Marshawn Lattimore will be seeing the bench, unfortunately, and neither will Joe Witt in terms of getting fired. I'm not saying I hope for someone to lose a job because I don't like them, but just they're not doing a good job, and the Commanders need someone else in here. And I know people are like, oh, firing a guy mid-season, that really doesn't do anything. Well, here's the thing. It's not like they're going to magically get better with Joe Witt, so let's change it up. Maybe get rid of him, or at least get Dan Quinn as a play caller and see what happens, because it can't get worse really than what's happening. Now let's talk about Jayden Daniels. He suffered a low-grade hamstring strain on Sunday. Going to be out Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. Unfortunate there. Wanted to see those two duel it out in Jayden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes, but we're going to have to wait another, 4 years probably for that, or maybe in the Super Bowl eventually, but we're far from that at this point with how the season's going. But I'm talking about more in the future though. But even then, it's not looking great, so they got a lot of things to fix, but it's this week now, and that means Marcus Mariota is going to be playing for the Commanders. He's starting in place of Jayden Daniels, who, I don't know, maybe he plays the next week. I don't really think it matters too much at this point, but Mariota, big week for him, third start of the season, so the third game Jayden Daniels has missed so far. So the injuries are starting to mount up for him. I'm hoping, when he does come back, he can stay, fully healthy, really, for the rest of the year, because that is super important. He's our franchise quarterback, and we don't want to start this, injury-prone narrative. And it's not like at least this injury wasn't because he was running around. He just got sacked, and, it was just unfortunate. But the other one was because he was running around. But we will see what happens when he comes back. My guess is the week, I don't know, either next week or the week after that for Jayden Daniels. But real quick, before we get into Terry, a word from today's sponsor. And a huge shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys go ahead and check them out. There's a Thursday night game this week. Obviously, there's college football on Saturday, even Friday too. Virginia Tech's playing Cal. And then you also have Sunday and Monday football. So that should be really fun. And you guys can get a free $20 entry on Sleeper. Also can use my code Pedro for 100% match up to $100. Use the link in the description. Terms and conditions apply. Alrighty, so now let's get into some Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel news. Shout out to Sleeper again for sponsoring today's video. So Ben Standig, Kime, all these guys are saying Terry and Deebo are set to practice this week and they have a good chance, or basically they're implying they have a chance to play, a good chance to play this week. But we heard the same story last week, not with Deebo because it was kind of a newish injury, but Terry, we heard that last week and it didn't end up happening. He was a limited participant on Wednesday, then just didn't practice on Thursday. So I'm not buying it with any of these guys until they actually step on the field on Sunday, or I guess Monday this week, or if they fully practice the whole week. In that case, I could see it happening. Deebo's different. I think he'll probably suit up this week. Terry, my guess is he plays, but again, I've said that for the last couple weeks based off the reports we're getting from the reporters and some of the information from the team as well. So it'd be good to have Terry and Deebo back, especially with a backup quarterback. Even though Mariota is good, having those guys is going to be helping him out a ton. So I am excited for that, to see Terry back. I need to have a huge need him to have a huge game for the Commanders. Deebo's been good, so not really worried about him. But Terry, he's missed these 4 weeks, and then also maybe more. I think 4 though. He's missed the 4 weeks, and then also just he keeps they keep setting him back a little bit, and when he did play, he wasn't too good. That's more where I was getting at, and that happens sometimes with Terry, but usually he bounces back, but this time he got hurt. So let's see what he does when he does come back. I'm excited to see Terry McLaurin suit up again for the Commanders. It's been too long, and hopefully he's able to completely go off against Kansas City Chiefs. Those are the major injury updates. A lot of people are saying we're going to sign Ray McLeod because the Falcons released him, was an ex-49er, but the Giants ended up signing him, and then also Tyler Lockett. I saw people talk about that. Hopefully not. At that point, just give our young receivers a chance. Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey. Let's see what they can do. But that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.